Example 3 says, let tangent of theta equal 5 over 12, where sine of theta is less than 0. Find the exact values of the sine of theta and secant of theta. So we're going to figure out first what quadrant we're in. So if tangent of theta is 5 over 12, it's telling us that the tangent is positive. So if tangent is positive, we know we cannot be in this quadrant or this quadrant. Then it also tells us that the sine is less than 0. So the sine is less than 0. We're looking for when the y value is negative, which gives us a third quadrant. So we know it can't be in the first quadrant either. So we're going to draw our triangle or our angle in the third quadrant and drop our perpendicular down to the x-axis. You always drop it to the x-axis, never to the y-axis. So the angle that we're looking at is the angle that's inside here. So this is our angle theta. And if tangent is 5 over 12, we're going to use SOHCAHTOA to label those points. So 5 would be the opposite, 12 would be the adjacent. So this would be 5, and this would be 12. And then what we have to realize is that this 12 is in the negative x direction, and this 5 is in the negative y direction. So we have to add those negatives for when we find our other trig functions. Then what we have to do is we have to find our third, we have to find our third side. We can do that by using the Pythagorean theorem. So we would have negative 5 squared, make sure that negative is in parentheses, plus negative 12 squared. Again, those negatives need to be in parentheses before you square them. Negative 5 squared is 25. Negative 12 squared is positive 144. Oops. And that's equal to r squared. 25 plus 144 will give us 169, equal to r squared. And then the square root of 169 would give us r to be 13. And so we can label that on our triangle. And from there, we can go ahead and find the sine of theta and the secant of theta. So sine of theta is going to be, if here's theta, it's going to be the opposite over the hypotenuse, so negative 5 over 13. And our secant of theta, remember that secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. So if we come over here and think about our cosine would be negative 12 over 13. So we're going to go the other way. So 13 over negative 12, giving us negative 13 over 12. There are two try this, so go ahead and try. If you want to try both, go ahead. If you want to just try one of them, however you want to do it, whatever practice you think you need on it, but go ahead and try at least one of them. So you can pause it now and unpause it when you're ready to check your answers. If you did letter A correctly, you should have gotten that the sine of theta is negative square root of 6 over 3. Cosine of theta is the square root of 3 over 3. Tangent of theta was negative square root of 2. Cosecant of theta was negative square root of 6 over 2. And cotangent of theta, let me move this up just a little bit more. Okay, cotangent of theta was equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. Now, if you didn't get some of these, it could be because of the way that you rationalized it. So if you need help rationalizing, call me over and I can help you with that. And then in letter B, cosine of theta was 2 square root of 6 over 7. Tangent of theta was 5 square root of 6 over 12. Cosecant of theta was 7 over 5. Secant of theta was 7 square root of 6 over 12. And cotangent of theta is 2 square root of 6 over 5. Let me know if you have any questions.